we've had so many difficulties lately with us recording in poor quality. I thought I would use my cell phone today. And sometimes it has a tendency to ring more than my other phone. So we'll just have to bear with me, please. So, good morning, everybody. Today's Saturday, July 27th, 2019. Welcome to our Contract Trust Conference Call. We're not accountants, tax professionals, lawyers, or currency dealers. We are not engaged in rendering legal, tax, accounting, or other professional advice. Should you require those services, you should retain competent advice from a professional in that field. Thank you all for joining us on the call today. My friend Judy and my partner Jim will be joining me on the call as usual. We invite your questions, so please *6 to raise your hand and we'll address your concerns as the opportunity arises. As we wait for this RV to occur, which seems interminable, it seems every day we hear another date prediction, tomorrow, next week, etc. And I just read more today. It should be this week. And we get excited for Tuesday to Friday, get the weekend arrives, and we're all still waiting. It is getting very tiresome. In the meantime, we try to prepare. Hopefully, many of us are done with our preparation. Trusts are done, packages complete, humanitarian projects defined. In this case, as with most opportunities in life, we will be rewarded for our due diligence and preparation. However, the longer this drags out, the more people are learning about the prospect of a big return on the purchase of foreign currency. As with any sizable asset, you need to protect it. If you have such an asset, or you're new to this game, or you just haven't gotten around to it yet, you can be sure somebody will try to take it from you. You need some prudent planning and the best vehicle to provide the asset protection you seek. We feel that our contract trust is that vehicle. So, good morning, Judy. Would you like to get started?
I would, Carol and Jim. Nice to hear both of you. Carol, it sounds like you're suggesting we need to set up a trust as soon as possible. So why establish a trust now rather than continue owning currency in our own name and Social Security number?
Well, Judy, owning anything in your own name leaves your assets exposed. If you would exchange in your own name, then have an accident or heart attack on the way home, all that money would be at risk. The assets can be tied up in court for years, and your family may not see any of it for a very long time. The current estate and gift tax exemption is $11.4 million per individual, which is a great deal. And that means an individual can leave $11.4 million to heirs and pay no federal, estate, or gift tax, while a married couple will be able to shield $22.8 million. The annual gift tax remains the same at $15,000. Right now, the amount is considerably more than most of us have to deal with, unfortunately. However, post-RV, that would be a drop in the proverbial bucket. For the ultra-rich, these numbers represent planning opportunities. For everybody else, they serve as a reminder. Even if you don't have a taxable estate now, you still need an estate plan, especially if you're planning for your future. And having assets in your name means you're wide open for lawsuits and others wanting you to part with your newfound wealth. On the other hand, if you exchange into a properly crafted trust and then have an accident or heart attack on the way home, the assets remain in the trust with no probate or estate taxes. It will be managed by the successor trustees that you have previously named.
Okay, so there's a lot of talk out there, Carol, about all kinds of trusts. Why is the contract trust so superior?
Most of the trusts are statutory in nature, meaning that they get their power and strength from locally, usually state, enacted laws. They are often recorded in that state or county, thus no privacy. They are sometimes required to pay a state recording fee every year. This is also true of most corporations, LLCs, and statutory trusts. The contract trust that we employ is a creature of common law. It gets its power and benefit from the U.S. Constitution. Most states require recordation only if the trust is actively involved in commerce. This guarantees your privacy and you don't have any annual recording fees. Jim, can I ask you to take over here for a minute? Let me see where you are. Jim?
Yes, I'm here.
Could you take over for a minute, please? I'm on question number 3.
Sure.
So
Jim,
we're on number 3. The question is going to be, is common law still valid?
Yes. While some attorneys may try to convince you otherwise, common law is still very valid. It has removed that we will be returning to the common law soon. Common law is a system in which law is based on judges' decisions and on custom rather than on written laws. The basis for the term common law trust is in this instance is not that the organizations are creatures of common law, but they are created under the common law of contract, do not depend upon any statute. They're not organized under any statute. They derive no power, benefit, or privilege from any statute. All of the various states of this country, except for Louisiana, have founded their systems on common law of England and have adopted the rules of stare decisis, under which unwritten law is made through the case law decisions. We are guaranteed the right to contract from the Constitution. Since the contract trust springs from contract, common law, there is an inalienable right to use them freely.
I'm back now.
Okay. Well, both of you then, why aren't banks... I'm sorry, Carol, I didn't mean to interrupt either one of you. But the question is, why aren't banks, attorneys, and CPAs more familiar with contract trusts?
Well, as you mentioned, contract trusts are common law. Common law is rarely taught in our colleges and universities anymore. Some attorneys are aware of the Massachusetts Business Trust, the basis for our contract trust, but once in place, they make no money from them. It's been said that a file cabinet full of revocable living trusts are the attorney's retirement.
Right, I've heard that as well. I have a lawyer who told me the same thing. So what are the advantages of the contract trust, Carol?
The contract trust owns and controls its assets through its trustees who keep controlling minutes of their actions. As trustee, you are in total control of the trust and its assets. There is no one between you and your money. A person can transfer all of his or her property, real or personal, to a contract trust. Such property is thereby protected from personal liabilities, probate, and death taxes. The contract trusts that we prepare are irrevocable. And just before this call started, we were talking with one of our guests about maybe putting other assets into the trust. And while you can put anything into this trust, we recommend that you do not commingle any other assets with your currency at this time. So go ahead, Judy.
Interesting. Don't commingle any assets with currency. That's a very interesting statement, one we all should underline in our heads, I think. Mm-hmm. So what's the difference between an irrevocable and a revocable trust?
An irrevocable trust cannot be changed or revoked. You have changed those assets, period. They are no longer yours. A revocable trust can be changed or terminated at any time. Because of this, the IRS may invoke the clawback provision, putting your assets back into your estate where they can be added to your personal estate. Very important consideration at tax time.
Is it difficult to start a contract trust, Carol?
I think you skipped one, Judy.
Oh, I'm
We're
sorry.
Number 7.
I have some help. I've got some help on my keyboard, so and you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So why are contract trusts so ideal in controlling versus personally owning assets?
At the creation of the contract trust, you irrevocably exchange your assets, in this case your currency, into the contract trust. You no longer own them, but you have complete autonomy in managing them. You don't own the assets, so no one can take them with you. Once you exchange your assets, you give up ownership. By the terms of the trust, you are then eligible to become trustee. We feel that if you are able to put those assets together, you are the most logical choice to continue to manage them. Once again, there is no one between you and the money, which is very important consideration, I think, for all of us.
Exactly. So, Carol, is it difficult to start a contract trust?
The creation of the contract trust is actually pretty straightforward. The creator initiates the exchange of assets into the trust, issues trust certificates to the original investor and exchanger, and appoints the first trustee. The creator, a separate natural person from the investor exchanger whom you choose, initially represents the contract trust and bargains with the investor exchanger to exchange $21 and 100 trust certificate units for the investor exchanger's property. That is how your currency becomes part of the trust. The creator then appoints the first trustee, either himself, which he's able to do, or another of his choosing. That person could be, and typically is, the original investor exchanger, which would be you. Once the first trustee is appointed, the curator exits the contract trust. We ask you to complete a simple application, providing us with the info we need to create your personalized trust. We do all the rest, including obtaining an EIN for the trust. We also provide an abstract of trust, which, along with the EIN letter, are usually sufficient to open a bank account.
Okay. So, Carol, what happens to the contract trust when we die?
The contract trust is born to live. Well, unfortunately, you will pass sooner or later. When we prepare your trust, we ask you to name at least one successor trustee who will take over when you die. No probate, no inheritance taxes, no estate tax, no attorneys, no waiting.
Can a successor trustee be changed due to unforeseen circumstances?
That person or persons can be changed at any time for whatever reason. And when we do this, we do not rewrite the trust. We do that with a minute. Once this trust, the trust is irrevocable. You cannot change it. So if you name, for instance, Judy, if you name your daughter to be successor trustee and either something happens to her or you have a serious falling out with her, you can write a minute removing her as trustee and naming somebody else. So we don't change that minute. We add another one.
Great.
We can also
Awesome.
add a spendthrift. Yeah, it's good to know. We can also add a spendthrift trust clause, so future trustees and certificate holders can't compromise or obligate the assets of the trust. But you must designate those choices on your application.
Okay. So is that all I have to do, Carol?
While we believe that the actual currency exchange will not be a taxable event on the federal level, it may be taxable in your state. If you live in a state that levies a state tax, we suggest you obtain a mailbox in any of the 7 states do not. We recommend Wyoming or Washington, and we have sources in both states that will allow up to 5 trusts per mailbox for about $125 a year.
Okay. Now that I know how my currency gets into the contract trust, how do I get my money out of it, or any money out of it?
Yeah, there are actually several different ways. The first way is to pay yourself a modest salary as trustee. This should be enough to cover your everyday needs, groceries, utilities, gasoline, medical bills, etc. The second way is to declare and pay a distribution to the trust certificate holders of the contract trust. In either case, this money is taxable income to you. You probably want to take some money this way and pay a minimal amount of tax. People have asked me, well, how much should I take? What kind of salary should I get? I don't know. That's totally up to you. If you feel you need $10,000 a month to live on, that's your business, but it will be taxable because it's income to you. If you feel you're happy with $3,000 a month, you can take that much. If either one of those amounts need adjusting, write a minute and adjust it. So, that's really pretty easy, pretty straightforward. But you can also borrow from the trust. A big question for many people is, how do I pay off my house? Or how do I purchase a new property? Again, there are a couple ways to do this. You could borrow money from the trust, essentially a new mortgage or refinance that you control. Excuse me. In this scenario, you still end up owning the property in your own name. Excuse me. This is not a good idea if you're trying to keep a low profile. A better option is to obtain a mortgage from the trust, secured with a promissory note, and put the house into a real estate trust. This would be optimal for larger expenses and not a taxable event. You could use this same method to purchase new vehicles, etc. Excuse me. Creating secondary contract trust is another way to purchase big-ticket items without creating a loan or taxable event. And don't forget about tax-deductible expenses. What about vacations and golf and tennis club memberships? As a trustee, your charge is managing and growing your trust. That means you probably want to investigate business opportunities and relationships, does it not? Most of those expenses are tax deductible to the contract trust. Regardless of which method or combination of methods you choose, be sure to write minutes to support your actions. You must be diligent in keeping the contract trust legal and in compliance with federal, state, county, and city codes.
Okay. Carol, I've heard that this exchange may not be a taxable event. How can I take advantage of the one-time tax break?
Well, it's a good question. We hear it a lot. And I think most of us have issues that we need to address post-RV. whether it be outstanding debt, a new car, helping out friends. We don't want to pay taxes. We don't have to. So at the exchange, how about this scenario? Mr. Banker, I now have X million dollars. I would like you to put $100,000 into my personal account. Here is my account number, wire instructions, or you're going to open an account at that bank. I would like to take $7,500 cash with me when I leave today, as well as a debit card attached to my personal account. I will need these wires to be sent, and here's a list of cashier's checks that I need. I will need a pass-through account for X number of dollars. I would like to put the balance into an account at your bank for ABC Trust. Here is my paperwork. The abstract and EIN number should be all that you need. And again, we're not CPAs or tax planners, just our opinion of how we may be able to take advantage of this one-time tax break. Obviously pretty simplified, but I think you get the idea.
Okay. Carol, you just mentioned a bit ago up to 5 trusts. Will I need more than one?
Well, you probably don't need additional contract trusts at this point. You will most likely want to diversify post-RV. We like to call this first contract trust your mother-lode trust. It is and should stay private, known only to you and your private banker or wealth manager. We also suggest you never purchase anything from this trust and never do online banking from this trust. Absolutely no online banking, folks. You really won't even need checks or debit cards because you'll be working with your wealth manager. Once the initial business of the RV has settled down, you may wish to create additional contract trusts for specific needs.
Carol, I've heard over the years that we should have separate accounts for the dinar apart from other currencies. Does that mean another trust?
Well, the important word here is account. One contract trust can own several bank accounts, so the answer would be no. However, you can set up additional trusts if you feel you want to set it up that way. And the trust, just like you can have as many bank accounts as you want, so can the trust. The trust can have as many bank accounts in as many banks and locations as you feel appropriate. Personally, my husband and I will have our mother-in-law trust accounts at several different banks.
Okay, so the trust can have just several accounts at one bank, but you can also have more than one bank.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, well, personally, right now, I have an account. As most of you know, I used to live in Seattle. I have got a mother-in-law trust account at Wells Fargo, and I have another one at Chase. I'm currently living in Oklahoma. I haven't opened one here yet, but we will. And we'll probably have a winter home in Florida. We'll have a mother-in-law account there as well. So at least I'll know where things are, and it is diversified into different banks.
I see. That's excellent information. Carol, will you and Jim be available to answer questions or prepare additional trusts once the revaluation happens? Well,
like many of you, we plan to retire after the RV. We will stay in business for about 6 months post-RV. We do have staff that will continue to produce trusts as necessary. Our website will archive all of these calls as well as questions and answers as they arise. I was recently called out for our planned retirement in the event we are needed for questions and concerns. In all the years, Jim and I have discussed this, in all the years we've been preparing contract trusts, it's been extremely rare to get questions, even in a short time of 6 weeks. Other than additional business and referrals, we rarely have further questions or concerns from our clients. That's one of the reasons we created our private website, www.indicatorinformation.com.
Okay. Carol, do I have to contact you to write minutes or update my trust?
Well, several years ago, when my husband Jay and I started in the trust business, Jay said, we can't just give people the key to the F-16 jet without giving him an owner's manual. So we created one. We actually created several booklets about the trust, including how to operate. Your trust includes membership into our private members-only website, which gives you access to those booklets, including sample minutes for your use. We give you very specific directions on operating your trust, as well as instructions on writing minutes that document your actions. This saves you time and money. We also provide extensive legal backup, including AmDur Second on business trusts. So, Judy, I think before we turn this over to Jim, we've got a few questions here, so let's
Okay, great.
Okay. Let's see. Thomas. Area code 810. Hi.
Yes, hello. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Finley. We're good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking. I have a question, and it is about the trust, but it's not about the trust. I'm having issue finding an attorney who knows anything about or is willing to learn about the trust in this format, the contract trust, to get me started. So, and I noticed in your emails you said you have attorneys that you have written trust for.
Yeah.
Okay. Are those people open for conversation?
Not now.
Okay.
They will be open for conversation post-RV. But,
okay.
As I said a little earlier, because our trust is common law, and common law is just not taught anymore.
Yeah, I know. I realize.
Not interested in it. Yeah, most attorneys are just not interested. So we will have those kind of, what's the word I want? Resources available to you post-RV.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Sandy, how are you doing today?
Oh, fine, Carol. How are you? How do you like the heat down this way?
It's a little different.
Sure is, yes. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to let you explain it to me because I'm not sure about the whole thing. I've been hearing that it is a good idea to form a charitable foundation. Is that something that you think is deemed necessary?
Well, I think it all depends on what your goals are and how they sell it. Some people are saying with the charitable foundation you get out of paying any taxes whatsoever, which I do not believe. There's many ways.
Basically, yeah, that was what I heard, that you could take a salary and not be taxable.
Yeah, well, salary is taxable. A salary is taxable. It's income to you. I mean, obviously, we keep hearing they're going to change. They're going to lose the IRS. They're going to change all the tax laws. So it's difficult to make that kind of recommendation one way or the other. But at this point in time, I wouldn't create a charitable foundation just for the reason of not having to pay taxes. If your goals are to be able to distribute money, that might be the way to do it. But I know there's several of them that are out there, but I would definitely wait till post-RV when you have the money and you have the resources. I mean, your wealth manager or somebody, bank manager, not bank manager, somebody should be able to help you with that directly. Family office.
Okay. One other question. If your mother lode, you've been invested in, say annuity, and you're earning interest on that, can you have that annuity from your mother lode, say, put into a different trust?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Gary, how are you doing today? Gary?
Morning, Carol.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, just not really a question. I just wanted to say I can hear everybody really well, Judy and Jim and all the callers, but your volume is very, very low. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay, let's see if I can turn it up. My phone's on as high as it'll go. Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, I don't have any other questions right now, so I'll let you go.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye. Hey, Todd, how are you?
Doing well, Carol. This is Todd. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Jim, for carrying on the crusade that you have over the past years. Being a Texan down here, I have worked over the years with many of animals, and it's like a broken record with some of these. If you don't repeat the record, the needle gets lost, and it skips, and the animals, they just don't understand the song anymore. And for you guys to keep coming on every couple of weeks, offering up help, we all understand that you're not advisors on a attorney or tax basis level, but the knowledge that you guys have shared in this instrument that we have is just great. And I want to thank you guys for that, because while I don't have a very big tree underneath me, I do have some nieces, nephews, and some people that will long live probably the year 3000. And I think that I'm going to try to do everything within my God-gifted abilities to, try to carry out some sort of transfer of wealth, because I am waiting for that pendulum to stop moving to the right or the left, whichever side it's moving, and sort of shift, and for this exchange to come on down the pike. But again, it really helps me, Carol and Jim, to get on once in a while and review some of the topics, because I'll forget them. And just like animals, we have to be reminded of what's in front of us and what we need to do to participate and be compliant with money. And money's, in my view and point of view, it's very important. It's not everything, but it sure is one of the top items on the list of importance. And as far as questions go, Carol, I'll cut to the chase here. I like to try to be balanced in my portfolio of speculative assets, and I've honestly wondered whether or not some of the digital currencies on the forefront, in your opinion, have what sort of part you think they might play in the way the world is changing in terms of banking or wealth. I was wondering if you saw anything in terms of the electronic currencies coming on board, and what your view was in those things. Do you have, or Jim, have you seen some sort of major role that some of the digital currencies that they call cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin will play in the next decade or so?
Jim, you want to take that one?
Okay. Yes, I have seen some interesting things coming out of the cryptocurrencies. As far as what they're eventually going to evolve into, nobody really knows. I see that many countries now are licensing mining of the cryptocurrencies, and we keep hearing something about Facebook, which I would stay away from personally. And I think that there's something in the future for that, and I believe it'll work real well with what we do. But exactly what it's going to be, I don't know. It still has to evolve. And just for a quick reminder, money of any sort is nothing but an exchange of energy. It took energy to create the money. It took labor to create money. So it's just another form of energy, and we have to look at it from that point of view. And exactly how it's going to evolve, nobody knows yet. That's my take on it.
Yeah, and I agree, totally agree. But, as we mentioned earlier, you can certainly put Bitcoin or anything of value, whether it be Bitcoin or any kind of cryptocurrency, into a trust. Even if it's your baseball card collection, you can put anything of value into a trust. Would you agree, Jim?
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, the problem with the Bitcoin and putting it in there is it's not yet, like Jim says, it's not yet played itself out, and it's not determined what a lot of people still wonder what is a Bitcoin, but it's more of a mathematical equation on a stock exchange that just plays itself out on pixels looking at a computer screen. And you got to wonder, what have we got ourselves into, because a lot of countries are trying to figure out their way of producing an exchange and going to a digital-backed ledger in order to itemize the total supply. So really the question is, where does cryptocurrency fall in? And I think Jim's right. I don't think that we know yet that the governments can actually treat that as, what sort of asset or commodity is it? Does it fall closer to a collectible item because not so many people are participating, or is it got the thrust and the momentum to become a worldwide accepted currency for spending and transacting? Is it similar to trading toothpicks for sugar, and is it going to fall on its face? I don't know. But the question
Todd,
here
I don't think anybody knows. I don't think anybody has the answers to that right now. But this particular call is more about protecting the estate that you have or will have. And, most of us are currency holders. So I don't think this is really the right time to talk so much about Bitcoin. But I appreciate your compliments and your comments. You have anything else for us?
No, mostly just wanted to thank you, and I'll ring in again if I have another better question, more power on point with your call. But yeah, thank you very much for the time and the repeated review of the trust. I do appreciate that.
You're welcome.
As far as the asset goes, I think the problem that I have is that we can't rely on the exchanges to put. We can't rely on the banks or the exchanges at this point to designate cryptocurrencies in a trust name, and so. Yeah, it's going to come down to the IRS is going to want money for any sort of capital appreciation. So, maybe my question would be geared towards, in the past with gold, if gold appreciated and it was in your trust, could you avoid a tax consequence for using gold to pay off your house by using a trust, or could you not? I mean, taxes were just inevitable. Something is, it's as inevitable as death.
That I don't know. Go ahead, Jim.
Actually, what we're talking about here is creating a sale. There's no tax until something is sold. So if your gold goes up in value while it's in the trust, it should not be a taxable event until you cash it out. It's like anything else. The only time that you have a taxable event is if you change ownership. And
so if you traded your gold for a mortgage, for example, would that create a taxable event because you traded the assets, Jim?
It could, if you trade it. Why trade it? Why not use it for collateral and get a loan?
That's the thought that I'm just trying to get my head around. So if you had a big pile of gold, why cash it out and get the capital, take the capital gains? But, with silver, like the Hunts brothers, they bought a ton of silver at $2, and silver ran up to $50 almost for about 20 minutes. It got to 47. Then it fell back because somebody manipulated it back down to about half that price. And, they still cashed it out. But they took a tax. I'm sure they took a tax cut on that situation because it was valued closer to the $50 level. And I'm just kind of trying to get my head around how does the trade, could you trade one asset for another asset and just move on from there without actually cashing it in? I guess that's my question.
Well, you don't need to. I mean, most people miss the obvious when it comes to finances, and that is once you have an asset, hold on to the asset. Use it for collateral. Borrow against it. All the interest is a write-off. I've been doing that for years. I mean, I have things in my trust that I probably should have sold, but I've kept them, and they're an asset in the trust. And if I need money, I can go to my local lender and I can use it as collateral, get a quick loan, do what I want to do, pay off the loan. Anything that I paid in interest is a write-off. So, just keep all your assets in your trust and then use the banking system to be your vehicle, be your slave, to do what you want to do. That's what I always have been done.
All right. Well, I sure appreciate that. We can move on. That answers my questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Carol. Thank you for having me on the call.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Good morning, Dean. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. You guys are doing great, sounds like.
Well, thank you.
In transferring money from the mother lode to another trust, do we have to use a loan to do that, or can you just transfer to another trust?
Jim, you can take that one.
All right. Well, you can, but you have to do it in a specific manner. And that is, if you have a mother lode trust and you want to transfer money to another trust, there has to be a reason for that transfer to go through. Right? You have to have an interest in wanting to do that. And that's why we have certificates of beneficial interest in each one of the trusts. You issued 100 units per trust. You can reissue those certificates. If it's a single trustee, when it was set up, then each trustee or that trustee got 2 certificates, 50 units each. You can take one of those certificates, take it, and send it back to the trust and reissue it in 5 units of 10 each. So your mother lode trust would want to have some interest in that other trust. So you take some of those certificates of beneficial interest and you exchange them over to the mother lode trust for the investment into that trust. Now you have a reason to do this. Not only that, then the mother lode trust can place a lien against that second trust to help secure that nobody can come and steal your money from you.
Okay. For instance, if I'm transferring to my real estate trust, do I still use certificates or a loan?
Well, if you're going to set up a real estate trust, let's say you've got your mother lode trust, you want to set up a real estate trust, you want to fund that $300,000. I'm just grabbing a number. You can take and transfer some of the beneficial interest from the real estate trust to the mother lode trust. Now the mother lode trust has collateral. It will loan you, or you can, however you want to place it, you can put the money, you can loan the money, you can do all kinds of different ways to get the money in that trust. That's up to you and your financial advisors once we get through this, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen here with taxation. So, but the way I've been doing it for years works in the existing system we have right now. You just simply transfer the certificates over. That's the collateral. You put the money in the real estate trust, and you will buy the real estate.
I do have the real estate trust now. I do have the mother lode trust. So if I go to buy a house or property, you're saying use certificates?
Yeah, just take the certificates of beneficial interest and transfer it to the mother lode trust, a small portion of those from the real estate trust. Then the mother lode trust has a reason and has the collateral to go ahead and loan the money to the real estate trust. And then you take the cash that it was loaned to the real estate trust and you go buy the real estate.
Yeah.
Okay, to clarify, they're using to do that, to get money from the mother lode to the real estate, we would take the certificates from the real estate and put in the mother lode, correct?
That's correct, but you don't want to put them all in there. You just want to put some of them in there. So you have 100 units in each trust. Put 10 or 15 or 20 units into the mother lode trust from the real estate trust.
Okay, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. You and Carol.
Right. There's a follow-up to that. There's a follow-up to that. Okay. Now, once you do that, even though the trusts are not public record, if you want to make sure that the house is secure, you place a lien against the house from the mother lode trust to the real estate trust, and you record that lien. And therefore, anybody that's coming and looking to see if you have any assets will find that there's a lien against that house, so they won't want to mess with it. We've done that many times using corporations.
Yeah, we're going to put all that on the website, aren't we, Jim?
We absolutely are.
Okay.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. That sure clarifies it.
All right. Thank you, Dean. It looks like we have one more, okay? Valda, how are you doing today? Salda?
Oh, hi, Carol. Good morning. How are
Hi.
you doing?
Good,
Hi. Good morning, Jim. And yes, I came in a little bit late, so I hope I'm not asking a question that was already asked. My question is about the minutes for the trust. So when I got my trust, I had a few minutes already written in the trust, and I now have to write a few more minutes. And I noticed that the ones that came with the trust were already numbered. Now, should I continue, when I'm writing my set of minutes, should I continue with the numbering that already started, or should I start a new set of numbers?
Yes.
So use the old number in the system that already started.
Yes. So if your last minute is number 3, then whatever minute you write will be number 4, and so on. And you should also number your pages. Keep them all sequential.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, so there's a question. When I did my minute, I made a change to which went in as a minute. And the old page, I don't think that page, I'm not sure if it had the same number, I forgot. Should I throw out the old one, the old page that was there, or should I retain
As I said, whatever is in the trust is irrevocable. It stays that way. So if you nominated your daughter as successor trustee, and now a couple of years later you decided to change your mind, you don't like her husband or whatever, you write another minute. You do not do anything with the original minutes.
Yes, so keep all the old ones. Okay, great.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
So, yes, so that was a question I had. Oh, okay. One other question quickly about the mother-lode trust. The trust that we have now, the first trust that we had, we can designate that as a mother-lode trust, right?
Yes.
And any subsequent trust that we have, we could issue certificates for those, or should we do new certificates?
Well, with the new trust, the new trust is going to have its own certificate. If it is going to be funded by the mother-lode, then the mother-lode, as Jim just explained, will probably want to have some of the certificates of the new trust. And, we've explained this, and it's kind of a difficult thing to explain over and over again. It is all going to be in writing, and it is going to be on the website, so it'll be easy to follow.
Okay? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
Well, Jim, it looks like we've gone through the questions so far. You want to take it from here?
Sure. I want to follow up on what she just said. One of the things that we need to realize is your trust. You have a ledger of all the stuff going on inside the trust. The trust is a book of your history. Every time you make a change in that trust, it's going to be sequential. And when you look back over the years, you'll see all the things you've done. So your trust is actually a book of your history. Maybe just your finances, maybe your family, because you've added people here and there and everywhere. You just need to be looking at it that way. It's like a diary or a journal. It has to be taken care of. All right, so with that being said, we were going to discuss some new stuff, weren't we, Carol?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The new contract trust payment and referral program. We're going to preview that today.
Sure. Go for it.
All right. Now, we got some notes here, so I'm going to kind of wing it, kids. So to assist our other currency holders to learn about and get their own contract trusts started, we're offering the following special for 45 days through September 10th, or until the RV occurs, whichever is first. We'll also have a small price increase of $500 after September 10th. So, as an alternative to a fully paid contract trust at $1,495, we will accept 2 consecutive monthly payments of $750 each for a total of $1,500, or 3 consecutive monthly payments, $500 each for a total of $1,500. The conditions apply as follows. Payments will be charged to the client's same debit credit card on the same day of the month as the initial payment. In the event of the RV, the outstanding balance must be paid immediately off. The $300 referral fee will be paid to the referring party only when the new applicant pays the full $1,495. Family discounts are still available at $1,195, but no referral fee will be paid on those. We still offer the Triple Play program, which includes a portable will, durable power of attorney, and healthcare power of attorney, and they're priced at $350 for a couple or $275 for a single person. Everyone likely knows other currency holders might want to get a contract trust, and this is the best way we can help them get it right now. So that's kind of what we wanted to bring up to everybody. And then you realize that after the RV, the prices will have to go up because we have to bring on a staff. As most of you know, this operation is run by two people, Carol and me. So we work very, very hard, put a lot of hours in. Not only are we doing the trust, I'm trying to keep the website up and running and adding to it constantly. And we are still working, trying to get a new website set up so you can go ahead and do the applications online. It's up and running. I won't tell you where it's at. We're testing it. I had a great success yesterday with it, and I think Carol and I came to a meeting of the minds how we want to do it. So I would estimate that within the next 7 days it'll be finalized, done, and I will send out an email to everybody that know it is ready to be used. Now, the advantage of that is when you go and apply to acquire a new trust, it's going to be all digital. You just fill it in, you put your credit card information in, you set up your terms, however you want to do it, you push pay, goes through the process, we're notified immediately, and then we merge it into the system, and then we notify you that everything is ready to go. It should make it quicker. We should be able to get these things done within 1 or 2 days initially as we get swamped. And then we'll send it out right away, and then with all the instructions. We did create a new set of instructions. Carol and I worked on that over those last 3 or 4 days. This is going to be going out with every trust. I will put those on the website also, and those instructions are exactly how to implement your trust. Step by step, each thing you have to do, and that'll be put on the website probably later today because I'm staying home all weekend. I'm in a heat wave here, Carol. I'm sorry. I mean, I know you're suffering over there. It's a whopping 69 degrees here today. I just had to do that. Sorry. So, yeah, it's a nice overcast day today. We like it here that way in Oregon. And, we like the 69, 70, 75 degree weather. It did get to 90 this week earlier, and you talk about snivellers. Boy, Oregonians know how to snivel.
I know. I've told some of our neighbors here that, when it gets to be 80 in Seattle, people start to complain.
Yeah. The people here in Oregon, we got real testy, and yelling at each other. It's hot. Leave me alone. It's hot. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. So, anything else we want to hit? I mean, that's a short deal. We're going to have all that information we talked about on how to do the conversions or the exchanges over from one trust to the other. I'll put all that in black and white. It's written. I just haven't installed it yet. I have to do some work on the the website. We're running out of room, so I have to increase the size of it a little bit, and I'm going to do that today. I'll change the menu up a little bit, so when you go back, it may be a little bit different. And Carol and I are always sniveling about all these companies like Microsoft and a few others. They're always changing things. I mean, always updating. MailChimp update. Everybody's always updating. Leave stuff alone. That's my mind. Leave stuff alone.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. Unfortunately, I have to do a little update on the website. So I'm going to apologize in advance that I'm going against what I hate the most, and that's changing things. But we have to.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Our message to Microsoft is leave stuff alone. I'm so tired of these updates.
That's funny, Jim.
Yeah.
So what
Jim,
else do we want to go over?
Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, not really. We've done everything we need to do.
Okay.
We talked about the money. We talked about we're going to adding some more to the website. We talked about the new website coming on. The website that we're talking about is just for the applications. And it'll have some information on there about how to fill out the applications. And there'll be every application that we do. I mean, we'll have one for the real estate trust, the automobile trust. We'll have one for the standard trust. We'll have them for the triple play. and you just go through. You pick each one, and then you just go through the process, fill it out, run your credit card through, or however you're going to pay, and then we're notified instantly. As soon as the application hits the website, I get an email and a text, lets me know I have a new one, and then I can go through, quickly get that started, and get the EI for everybody, and for the trust, and away we go. So that's the game, kids. That's the game.
Yeah. And one of the advantages of doing this online is we don't have to deal with anybody's handwriting.
Yes, that's been a problem.
That has been an issue. Dealing with handwriting has been an issue. So this way we can get it all done. You can input your credit card number. It's all secure. Goes up right through authorized.net. Totally secure. So
yeah. Let's also add about security.
For errors.
Okay, let's also add about the security what we do. We have all of your files on our computers are in DoD 7 compliant encrypted programs. Everything that you send us goes right into those files. So when I walk away from my computer, within 5 minutes, if I have forgot to turn off the security program, it automatically closes down, and everybody thinks it's secure. It's away. If I come back to my computer, I have to put the password back in. It's a long password. I'm a big fan of long passwords. Everybody knows that. Right. And I put it in there, and all of your stuff comes back up. We work on the thing, and then we finish the trust, and everything's archived in a secure database that we have on our computers. And like I said, DoD, Department of Defense, grade 7 compliant, as high as you can get as a civilian. So we are very aware of all the issues out there in the internet world, people getting into computers and stuff. So we take that seriously. That's why we use authorized.net, because it's very, very secure.
And it looks like we do have one more question here before we sign off. So let's just
Thank you.
Good morning, Alette. How are you doing today?
Hi, Carol. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I haven't been on for a while, so I've been missing out on a lot of things. But I do have a few questions. One, a follow-up to what Valda just asked. She was asking about the minutes, and I was wondering, how do we get new pages? Can we make copies of the ones that we have now? And if so, is there a special type of paper that we should use?
Well, Jim has a link to Amazon for the paper that we use. And if you want to, you can go ahead. You've gotten some of you have blank pages for it. We sent blank pages. A couple of years ago, I was sending blank minutes. So if you have a blank minute, you obviously can just copy it. But every minute you write now, Jim has it on the website. So you should be able to format it so it looks like the rest of your trust.
Okay, so we can go ahead and make copies of the blank pages that we now have?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. On any paper or?
On any paper is fine, but as I say, Jim's got a link on the website to Amazon with the paper that we use. It's about, $20, Jim, for 250 pages?
Yeah, it's averaging between $16 and $23, depending on the time of the month from our supplier, and it changes. And you can buy pages. It's 65-pound stock, very heavy, like the heavier trust. And you know how it works, how the minute stop is. Type all that stuff up. And I just thought we might as well go ahead and put on a little note up there with all the fonts that we use. So people want to make sure the fonts match. They'll have it. So I just made a note of that. I'll put that on the website too.
Okay. And one
you guys are so cool.
Sorry. Another question, which everybody else probably knows, but I just went on the site indicatorinformation.com, and it says that a password is needed to get into the certain sites, the restricted sites. So how would I get that password?
You can send either me an email or send Jim an email, and we will send you an invite.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry if my questions are obvious because I've been missing out.
No,
you need to catch up.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. Dean, you have another question?
When using those certificates, transferring them from one trust to another, do we need to fill out a trust certificate or assignment certificate agreement?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I just made a note to list those on the website also, so you can buy them. We buy them through Amazon. And so what you do is you take one of the certificates. Let's say you've got your 250s. You got your 250 unit certificates. You take one of them, you write return to trust or void or however you want to put it on there. Carol may want to have a better way of doing it. But anyway, just turn it back to the trust and then create two certificates from that. So you create one for whatever you're going to leave in the trust and one that you're going to give or exchange over to the mother-lode trust, whatever amount of units you want. Sign it. So all you got to do is sign as trustee, and then you put it in the library, so to speak, of your mother-lode trust. You put it in that. You put it in with that documentation. And then, of course, it has to be a minute created in the mother-lode trust, what it's doing. It's receiving this in exchange for financing, funding, whatever words you want to use, to the real estate trust. So now your real estate trust has, if you want to use 10 certificate units, then you have 90 left in your real estate trust, and now your mother-lode trust has 100 of its own plus 10 from the real estate trust. That make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I'll write this all up. I've got most of it done. Every time we have a conversation about it, I realize I need to write more. So I'll get that done up over the weekend, and I'll get it on our website.
Okay. Thank you, Dean. Well, it looks like we're running out of time. You want to close with your information, Jim?
Sure. My name is Jim Knox. I live in Salem, Oregon, and I'm on the West Coast time, obviously. I like to work between 9 and 5 or 9 and 6, 9 and 7. Not any earlier than 9. I work up to 6 or 7 sometimes. I will take calls if I'm available. The best number to get a hold of me is 503-583-6791. I don't have any way for people to text me, so you just have to give me a call. If you get my voicemail, do leave a message. I do get back with everybody within a day or so. And that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you. And thank you all for your attendance and attention. We will be back in 2 weeks. Again, my name is Carol Werelius. My phone number is 425-820-8090. I am in the Central Time Zone, and I take calls between 9 and 5. However, the best way to reach me is by email, info@indicatorinformation.com. Hope to talk to you all soon. Have a great weekend, and go RV. Bye-bye for now.